Anong downside nito? Anong downside? Preservatives class may not be used in injections in which the total volume to be injected at one time exceeds 15 ml. Okay. Okay? So again, the downside of this class is preservatives may not be used in injections in which the total volume to be injected at one time exceeds 15 ml. Okay, so this may occur if the solubility of a drug is such that a therapeutic dose can only be achieved in this volume of solvent. Okay? So again, add tayo ng preservative sa multiple dose small volume injection, but however, hindi na siya pwedeng gamitin kung ang total volume na i-inject mo ay more than 15 ml, 15 ml. And lastly, we have freeze-dried products. Okay, so freeze-drying consists of preparing the drug solution, filtering through a bacteria-proof filter, dispensing into containers, and removing in a freeze dryer, then capping and closing the containers. Okay, again, briefly class, we can say that freeze drying, other name ng freeze drying is lyophilization. Okay, lyophilization. Lyophilization, lyophilization. Okay, freeze drying, also known as lyophilization, consists of preparing the drug solution, filtering through a bacteria-proof filter, dispensing into containers, removing water in a freeze dryer, then cupping and closing the containers. Okay, so paano tayo nagpe-prepare ng drug solution? Of course, using aseptic technique. Ito sa first, how do we prepare using aseptic technique? Anong sinasama natin while preparing the drug solution? Dapat meron na siyang buffer and also cryoprotectants. Okay, doon sa preparation of drug solution. Okay, many biotechnological products class are already freeze-dried nowadays. Okay, so freeze-drying, again, is an aseptic process. O, dito pa lang sa start, aseptic na yan. Okay, is an aseptic process whereby water is removed from a frozen product mainly by sublimation. Okay? Anong example ng sublimation? Yung kino-convert nyo si ice directly into vapor state. Okay? From solid to gas. Okay? So, you convert ice directly into the vapor state without intermediary of liquid water. Okay? So, sublimation is from solid state of matter to gas state of matter. Solid to gas. That's sublimation. Hindi na dumadaan ng liquid bago maging gas. Okay, direct na siya into vapor state. From solid to vapor state. Okay. Remember that freeze drying is a batch process of relatively very long duration used frequently for drugs of poor stability. Okay, so dito siya nakakitaan ng advantage or use, okay, dun sa drugs na may poor stability. Okay. One of the downside is that the process itself is very long. Masyadong matagal bago matapos. We have experienced it yung friend ko. Ito yung thesis nila nag-i-involve ng freeze drying, lyophilization. So, early pa lang talaga ng school year, prepare na nila yung experiment proper kasi meron silang freeze drying. Ang tagal, more than 24 hours. Okay? It may cost you days. Okay? In order to finish the freeze drying. Okay? So, ganun yun siya. Ganun yung ginagawa. Again, ang ginagawa is water is removed from a frozen product mainly by sublimation. Okay? Drugs are reconstituted into a solution immediately prior to injection. Okay? So, meron tayong yung process ng freeze drying or lyophilization consists of 3 stages. Okay, so we have freezing, primary drying, and secondary drying. Okay, freezing, it slows down degradation and solidifies the product. Okay, sa freezing, it slows down degradation and solidifies the product. Okay? So, sa primary drying naman class, primary drying, energy is provided to the system and a vacuum applied to expedite the removal of moisture at a sub-ambient temperatures. Okay, sub-ambient temperatures. Lastly, we have secondary drying, whereby the product is heated to remove the last traces of water, which is around 2%. Okay, so ganyan yan. First is we have freezing, and then the first stage is we have freezing, and then primary drying, and then secondary drying. Okay, so these are the 3 stages of lyophilization or freeze drying. There are a number of characteristics of the formulation control that the behavior of the product during the lyophilization cycle occurs. Okay, so meron tayong mga number of characteristics na yan. So, example na lang is we have yung mga glass transition temperature and the collapse temperature. Okay? So, yun lang naman ang about sa freeze drying. So, saan ba ginagamit talaga si freeze drying? It is used frequently for those drugs that have poor stability. Okay, doon talaga siya ginagamit. But again, it's a relatively long duration na process. It's a batch process. But again, do not forget that we should use aseptic technique. Okay, still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So let's solutions. So irrigation solutions are topical preparations class used intraoperatively during procedures such as surgery. Okay, laparoscopic surgery. We also have yung mga transurethral resection of the prostate. We also have yung mga microvascular and orthopedic surgeries. Okay, so again, irrigation solutions or irrigating solutions are those topical preparations used intraoperatively during procedures. When you say intraoperatively, ginagamit siya sa surgery. Examples of those surgery are those yung mga laparoscopic surgery. Yung laparoscopy is yun yung kinukuha yung part ng yung mga gallstones. Yes. Gallstone, part ng gallbladder. It's gallstones. Okay? So, when I was still in med school, we saw sa aming cadaver a gallstone. Okay? So, when we studied the liver, kasi your gallbladder is directly connected to the liver. Okay, halos hindi mo na nga siya makita. Our teacher, yung surgeon, siya pa yung naghanap para sa amin kasi sabi namin, Dok, wala na talagang liver yung pasyente. Wala nang liver yung cadaver namin. Wala nang liver yung tao. Tapos sabi daw, hindi, andyan yan. Tapos sabi namin, Dok, baka kinuha yung gallbladder niya. Baka nag-undergo siya ng gallbladder removal. Tapos sabi ni Dok, wala. Hanapin nyo. Hindi talaga namin siya makita. The doctor actually got it for us. Hindi ko alam ano yan, doon sa baba talaga ng liver, hinanap niya. And then nakuha niya. Hindi niya actually kinuha, but ipakita niya lang sa amin. Okay, it's again directly connected to your liver. Si gallbladder. Okay, so meron kaming isang pasyente doon. Hindi na siya actually if you go to the med school, your first patient is the cadaver. Okay, the very first patient you will handle is the cadaver assigned to you. So sa ibang cadaver, lalo na yung may gallstone, madali lang siya identify kasi lumaki yung kanyang yung gallbladder. Ang dami kasing nakita na gallstone sa kanya. So one of the gallstone is big. Okay, so if you are going to, if you know somebody na merong gallstone, or if you have gallstone, God forbid, you can actually undergo a laparoscopic surgery. It's minimally invasive, meaning hindi na nag-involve ng open surgery. Hindi na i-open yung inyong gastrointestinal system in order to get the gallstone. Okay, kuan lang na siya, parang stick lang yan, dalawang stick na i-insert sa iyong um, GI system. Sa chan man yan siya located ang liver. Okay, so parang ano lang siya, stick. Dalawang stick yan siya insert sa inyong chan. The other stick will be yung parang cutter, yung parang gunting na magka-cut nung nung gallbladder, kasi open naman yung gallbladder mo. And then the other one is the camera. Okay? It will lead the doctor kung asan yung location ng gallstone. Okay, so
Yes,
ganun.
ma'am.
Okay, so may someone naka-undergo ng laparoscopy sa inyo? Or naka-scrub in sa isang laparoscopic procedure? Well, you can actually YouTube it. Okay, marami kayo makita sa YouTube niya. Maganda siya. Hindi na kailangan. I don't know if it's very expensive talaga. It's available in Brookshire Hospital. I think it's available. Kasi state of the art naman yung Brook na hospital lahat. Okay, so wag niyong malitin yung Brook kasi state of the art po tayo doon. Oo. Kahit ganun lang yung itsura nun sa loob. The design kasi of Brookshire is, kumbaga, ano na siya ba? Old na siya, not the modern type na hospital. Pag pumasok kayo, especially yung makita niyo sa yung hagdanan. But you will see the different Vatican na doctor na naandoon sa nagtatrabaho sa hospital. Okay? So this solution again is used for those surgical procedures such as we have laparoscopy, we have transurethral resection of the prostate, we have microvascular and orthopedic surgeries, and others. Okay, so some of the topical irrigation class or the irrigating solutions, they are heparinized. Heparinized, nilagyan or trinit siya ng heparin. Merong heparin. Lang ha. Hello? Are you still there? Can you hear me? Nawala bigla yun. Okay. Nawala bigla yung internet. Okay, so let's continue. Again, yung mga heparinized topical irrigating solutions, they consist heparin. Heparin is an anticoagulant class. Heparin again is an anticoagulant which prevents thrombosis. Thrombosis is ito yung nagpo-form ng blood clot. Okay, this is the medical term for blood clot, thrombosis. Okay, so when you say anticoagulant, meaning anti-clotting. Okay, anti-clotting siya. Heparin is one of the common examples of drugs under anticoagulants. Okay, heparin class is considered as an high alert medication. Okay, if there is an unintended intravenous administration of heparinized irrigation solution, it can increase a patient's risk of bleeding. Kaya you always check the label if it's heparinized. Kasi nga, if unintended yung pagkagamit ng pagkagamit ng heparinized irrigation, it may increase the risk of so we have different protocols in irrigation solutions. Okay, so shown in your screen. Okay, so Number one, irrigation. Okay? Number two,
Ayaw, na pa mo.
Na pa. Putol-putol na jud siya.
Dinectate niya ba guys yung protocols? Dinectate niya
Tablets.
yung protocols. Kay
okay? Designate irrigation specific equipment. Okay, designate irrigation specific equipment. This is for use with solutions intended for irrigation.
Ma'am, wala ka nag-screen share, ma'am.
Wala ako naka-screen share.
Wala, ma'am.
Wala po.
Ah, okay. Saan ang last nag-screen share?
Ang irrigation,
Saan ang
ma'am.
last yung nakita? Irrigation. Okay. This one. Ito?
Yes, ma'am.
Hindi nyo na to nakita. Okay, hindi nyo na to nakita?
Yan yung last, ma'am. Yung nawala, ma'am.
Okay. So, let's proceed with the irrigation solutions protocol. Okay? So, again, natapos na tayo dito. You should apply a distinct for irrigation only auxiliary label to all bags and bottles to be used for irrigation. Kailangan talaga may ganito label class in order to prevent mix-ups. Okay? Designate a space for staff to prepare medications without distractions. Ensure that all required supplies are readily available. Also, segregate the storage of all bags and bottles intended for irrigation from those intended for IV administration. Also, to designate irrigation-specific equipment. You designate yung equipment na intended lang talaga for irrigation. Huwag nyo siyang ihalo sa iba. Halimbawa, may isang equipment na ginagamit for irrigation. Tapos, ginagamit din siya for other process. Okay? Protocol ng irrigation solution, dapat yung equipment na yun para lang kay irrigation. Huwag na ibigay sa iba. You designate naman other equipment for those ibang process. Okay? Yung para kay irrigation lang yun. Okay? Bawal manghulam. Okay? So, be loyal. Okay? This is for, again, for use lang siya with solutions intended for irrigation. Also, we should connect irrigation mixtures to the designated tubing while on the sterile field whenever possible. Okay? Okay. So, that would be the last one. Okay? So, again, last one na pala yung to connect. Connect irrigation mixtures to the designated tubing. Okay? While on the sterile field whenever possible. Okay, ano example nito? Meaning, example nito is, dapat hindi mo siya ihang sa pole without any tubing attached. Okay, so again, do not hang on the pole without any tubing attached. Do not hang the irrigation solution on the pole without any tubing attached. I think this is this is the last one for this day, ha? We will continue tomorrow. Okay, so for the parenteral admixtures, As we have discussed kanina, ano nga yung IV admixtures? Okay, so or parenteral admixtures. Parenteral admixtures are those admixtures which have one or solutions which has one or more sterile products for injection requiring aseptic manipulation or combination in a pharmacy IV preparation area or pharmacy intravenous preparation area. Parenteral